Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today what we're going to be going over is the Darkmoon Faire stuff. Now, I did a video a while back on how you can actually just make gold with replica gear, but there are certain other different ways in which you can make gold with all of this stuff. That being the case, let's just get into what we actually went ahead and did. What we actually went ahead and did was we went into my little setup thing and we actually went through the Darkmoon quest items so we could actually buy those out on the auction house. Once we actually did that, we've actually got all of them, and then all we got to do now is just bring them in. What you can do, however, is you can keep an eye on them by going into your currency, going over to them, and then selecting whether or not they actually show in your bag. Currently we have about 13 of these, and once we've actually done all of the hand-ins, we can then actually get a load of different types of things in order to actually give in and get those tickets to actually get a hold of a load of different things just moving forward. Now, one little side note I will say is when Shadowlands actually does come out, I would highly recommend actually getting your inscription character and learning the Darkmoon trinket as soon as you possibly can in order to maximize the amount of gold. Aside from that, we've just given in a load of these quest items in order to get a load of rep with the Darkmoon Faire, and now we're just going to give in the last two in order to get the rest of our Darkmoon tickets. Now, and then what we'll do is we'll go over which different things we can actually get with the tickets, and then we can then move that on to that and make sure we can actually have a look at what other things we can actually buy for a profit moving forward when it comes in relation to the Darkmoon Faire. Now, once we've given all that in, we can then run over to their respective vendors, because we've now got 93, so we've gained 80 Darkmoon tickets for one character. This is standard procedure if you're trying to do that. I actually have that mount, I just realised. And that being the case, all you can do is you can go over to pets and mounts, and then you can buy stuff from here. So what you can do is you can buy the Darkmoon Cub, the Darkmoon Monkey, or the Darkmoon Turtle. This is where the Brutasaur comes in and makes it a lot handy, because then you can actually check the pricing on the auction house as you actually go about doing this. So we can just say Darkmoon, and we can always go to Battle Pet, and then it will come up here. So Darkmoon Cub, 19,000 gold for that, and that one is for just level 25 ones. Do I want to level it to level 25 to actually sell it on? Possibly, I don't know. And the Darkmoon Monkey is 6,000 gold, and the Turtle is 4,000 gold. So what we'll do is we'll actually go ahead and we'll use our prize tickets to maybe buy something else going forward. So what we can see here is you can actually buy the Tonk. So the Tonk and the Zeppelin can actually be done, and the Darkmoon Balloon. So what we can do is just make sure that we double check all of this stuff. So Darkmoon once again, and then just make sure that we're not selling ourselves short. So when it comes to the Zeppelin, Darkmoon Zeppelin is around about 13,000 gold for one, and I don't have to do any leveling required. The Darkmoon Tonk, however, is 9,000 gold for one. So what we'll do is we'll go with the Zeppelin because it's the highest gold per hour without having to level it. So we'll actually grab that Zeppelin right there, and then we can then sell that on the auction house. We've just spent all of our tickets in order to get a hold of this. We learn it, and then all we've got to do is put that into a cage, and then we can sell that on the auction house. We've just done a quick 13,000 gold on an item that will obviously sell. So that's one way we can actually go about doing that, because those quest items only cost like a few hundred gold each. I spent around about 3,000 gold on those, and that means we're selling that for 13,000 gold, which gives me an additional 30,000 gold. There are other different things you can do by buying replica gear from these vendors right over here, but I've done a video a while back actually going over how we can make gold with replica gear. But that takes a while to sell. The battle pets actually sell a lot faster than you would if you were selling the replica gear overall. Other things that you can do, however, is by taking advantage of the fishing vendor, which we're heading over to now. What you'll be wanting to do is making sure that you can double check Darkmoon Daggermore. So if you go over to your fishing guy and make sure that you actually have fishing, because you can actually fish these up yourself if you really wanted to on the Darkmoon Island. But realistically, you'll be wanting to jump in here and just double check what's actually going about. Jumping into this section with this vendor, we can then double check how much these things are and how much they're actually worth. So we can actually see the price of Darkmoon Daggermore, and it's about 12 gold, 80 silver for one. So realistically, it's 128 for 10, blah blah blah. So we'll go with 13 gold for one. We'll just round it up, because what we want to do is we want to buy stuff and then make a profit on reselling this stuff. So when we're actually looking at this, we're going to want to make a profit. So that means we're going to have to get out our trusty calculator in order to actually make some of our gold back. The Darkmoon Daggermore is around about 13 gold. We've rounded that up, of course. Now, we can see that the lemon herb recipe is 1,979 for 10 of those Darkmoon Daggermore. So you just times 13 by 10, which is 130. If we buy the recipe, we can actually make a profit on top of that. The idea is is to maximize the amount of gold for our Darkmoon Daggermore. So when we type in Darkmoon Daggermore, so we'll just copy that just so we can do a quick search once again. And then what we're going to do is we're only going to buy probably about 50 of those. That's 640 gold for that. Means we can now buy out the next thing, which is those. So what we can do is we can double check how much these are. So when you're actually double checking these ones, the battle pets can be a little bit less and a little bit more. So what you want to do is 13 gold. So 13 gold for the Blorp's bubble, which is 13 gold times by 50 Daggermore. That's 650. It resells for 1,979 gold on the min buyout, and the market value average is 3,354. So what we'll want to do there is we will want to Darkmoon Daggermore once again. It'll probably be best if we actually save that to our favourites so we could buy more of it. And what we'll do is we'll get 100 of those, and then that's 1,280 gold for 4,000 gold back. And then nonetheless, you can always do that for the translucent shell, but the problem with the translucent shell is 13 gold per Darkmoon Daggermore, times that by 100 of what's actually needed, it's 1,300. That has a resell of 1,428 gold. I'm not going to bother with that because it's such a bad profit margin for me to do, and the sell rate's 0.01, and overall that's pretty damn bad if I'm relisting that on the auction house constantly. Blorp's bubble, however, is literally like a third of the actual price for the investment, so I'm okay with doing that. Aside from all of that, there are additional things you can actually buy, which is set out a great feast, so the sugar crusted feast. You can use that, which requires cooking, and then you've got the Darkmoon feast as well that you can actually do. You can also buy a mount, which is the Dark Water Skate, and this is the reason why I want to actually do this, and that is because we're going to be getting this mount in a second. So that's 500, so we're actually going to add all of this stuff up because we want the stuff for the cooking. So 25 plus 50 plus 500, and then we're going to get the toy as well because we're just going to spend, and that comes to 600 for all of my stuff for my things, and then another 150, which is 750 for the pets for myself, because I'm actually starting to collect some pets. So 750, and that's costing me 10,000 gold, and that means I can now buy a mount, and then we can actually go over all of this stuff right now. So quite frankly, we're actually going to be making a profit regardless, and we can actually get a mount out of this as well. So all of the bought items, we're just going to gather them up all now, and what we're going to do is we're going to buy the stuff that we want first, and then we can then learn those first, plus, and then whatever's left we'll then use that to buy the stuff that we want. So quite frankly, let's learn our dark water skate, which is right here. We now have the dark water skate, which is a water mount. So dark water skate. We can then add that to our little task bar, and then we can then jump in the water and see what actually happens. This mount does not benefit from mount equipment, blah blah blah. And right now we're in the water, we can now mount up as the dark water skate, and now we can swim in the water on our little skate mount. It's basically like the one from BFA, which you can farm up as well, but this one is a hell of a lot cheaper because a lot of people farm and fish up the Darkmoon dagger moors, which then actually helps you out quite a bit. Aside from all of that, what else do we actually going to be learning? And that will be Blorp's Bubble for ourselves. We're going to keep hold of Blorp, and we're going to keep hold of a translucent shell, as well as learn a toy and learn a couple of recipes in order to max out our cooking, because this guy is mainly one of my cooking characters overall. So now let's actually go about what we're actually going to be buying, and what we said was we wanted to buy 2 Blorps, so buying 2 Blorps, and we'll learn those, so 1, 2, and then 5 of the herbs overall, and then Bing Bang Bush, we're going to be buying all of that. The add-on that I'm actually using to buy this stuff out is called is Buy 'em All, which is an add-on that just allows me to buy as many as I want of a certain item, and judging by all of this stuff, I'm going to be making a decent amount of gold overall for all of this stuff right here. So when it comes to all of that jazz, I've actually maxed out on some of my pets. I can then jump over and obviously have a look at the toy, because why not? Judging by that, we can then use Blorp for battle pets and all that stuff. I like to have 3, all of them in one go, so I wanted to keep all of them together. But bear in mind that Blorp's Bubble, and I'm actually not too sure, but I think the crab as well. The ghost shell crab can be placed inside a cage, but the Blorp's Bubble cannot be caged. So just sell that as you buy it from the vendor, and then you shouldn't have a problem with all of that right there. Now we can actually post all this stuff to the auction house. So what we'll do is we will go into our groups, and to make sure that we're going into our groups correctly, we can then go into miscellaneous, go into battle pets, and Darkmoon Faire was kata specific, so we'll add those into there. And then when it comes to that battle pet as well, Darkmoon Zeppelin will shove in there as well. And for the recipe of the herb fillet, I'm actually going to put it into the junk pool, because I haven't actually made a recipe one just yet. So then again, we can still just post this stuff on the auction house by just selecting that, and then you're just running it all right now, and then posting those all to the auction house to make some additional extra gold. Hopefully guys, this has actually helped give an idea on how much gold you can actually make with Darkmoon Faire. I find this to be a really easy way to make gold, especially on a monthly basis. Just by even just doing the basic quest items, you can get a few of the battle pets, resell those in the auction house for a quick buck, and the more alts you get, the more you can sell throughout that following month. Aside from all of that guys, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon. Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.